It's time for Superflex Sundays on the Fantasy Football Network with your host, Ben Dunna of the Fantasy Shotcallers. You know what it is. Fantasy is life. You know it's a vibe. And I am joined by none other member of Bill's Mafia, the big Swami, a.k.a. the other Ben. How we doing tonight? How we feeling?
Hanging in there, buddy. How you doing? How's everything?
Oh, you know, just another day in paradise.
Another day, another mock, right?
Exactly. And I'm going to be doing some auction drafting during this. I'm keeping in on this rookie draft, and a couple guys in that rookie draft league are in here right now. We got at the 101, Rick Flair, and then at the 2, we have Dynasty Fan Podcast, and then an Fantasy Football Network OG Sniper 1341, and then another half of the Fantasy Shot Callers, Lady Shot Caller. And then Jared Big Ocean, a.k.a. Trollmeister McGee. We got R. Munoz of the Dynasty podcast. And then we got another one from our home Dynasty League, Maiden Man 107, Trunks Fantasy Football, and the real Sandwich God, none other. Plug in with Jay the Plug. You know what it is. And then we have myself, and then obviously the official Swami. So it's kind of serendipitous that we're both at the end of the round here. Kind of
Let's see how this one plays out.
Let's get this draft kicked off. Let's see if the 101 is going to be autoed again. Half autoed last time.
Nate. That's Nate.
Oh, and the green is on. That means he's here. Josh Allen goes at the 101. Will Jonathan Taylor go at the 102? There he is. So who do you think is going to be the QB to come onto the scene this year that like people were kind of doubting going into it?
I don't know if people are doubting him, but I was big on Lamar Jackson before the Hollywood Brown trade, and I still am. I like Lamar, and I already know he's to like. So it's not that people are doubting him. I'm thinking that he's not getting enough recognition that he deserves.
Yeah. Cooper Kupp at the 4. All righty.
Oh.
Wow.
Patrick Mahomes at the 5. Lady Shot Caller loves to spice things up, and I respect it.
Snipers on.
Cooper Kupp. Yeah, Sniper's on auto draft, I guess. I don't know what's going on there. Maiden Man 107. We got another Otto Thotto. Otto the Thotto is back and striking again. Taking all your monies.
Come on.
I love the little tidbits of like when you run out of time and you have to say auto drafted for you.
I love the wow.
Yeah, wow.
Who else is on the board? Okay. Some names are dropping. That 30 seconds goes by quick, man.
It does. It really does.
Wow.
Kyler off the board at 8.
What's your take on Kyler this year?
He's got to prove himself in the Derrick Henry at the 1-9. I respect it. He's got to prove himself in the second half of the season. I mean, the first half of the season, he's MVP every year. And then the second half of the season, he's like, is this guy even in the NFL? Or is he in the CFL?
Yep.
Wow.
Joey B at the 110. All right. Do I reach here? Nah, I don't think I'm going to reach here. I'm going to go with a guy I've been really high on recently. And, he's getting a lot of. He's going to be the every down back here, and that's very, very tough nowadays. But that's Najee Harris.
All right. So I'm going to switch this up a little bit. Let's see.
Camp is changing up the draft. It's because Kyler is tiny.
I know it's Superflex, and I know that everybody preaches that QB language.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna change it up a little bit. I want to try a little bit different on mock and see how it plays out for me. Going J Jet.
Oh, that 30 seconds. And Eckler. All right. Well, this is where I'll usually go like, a running back, or if I'm going to go no QB, but I like my guy so much, I'm going to reach a tiny bit, and that man is Jalen Hurts, people.
You like Hurts.
I do like Hurts. I hope he doesn't hurt me.
Plug going with the stack.
I like it. Ooh, Kelsey, that sandwich god. He is a Kansas City Chiefs diehard. So, you know what it is. We got a yuck and a gross. A gross and a yuck and a gross. I don't know where it's going, but stick it up your nose.
I think the last mock I was on with you prior to last week, I think you went like Hurts and somebody else. I feel like Jalen's definitely on your target.
Yeah. I mean, I have him as QB2 in my rankings at the end of the year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That mobility threat that when the QBs bring to it, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It to me, it's just as big as the backs who can catch too, who become that 3-down back.
Yeah, I agree.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, Sniper's on auto. That's why.
Yeah.
Lady shot caller pairing up Stafford with Cup.
That's great stack. That is a great stack there. I see what you did there, Lady Shot Caller. She got it.
I almost wonder if the Nature Boy was hoping that Diggs would fall to him and stack up Allen with Diggs.
Yeah, the Nature Boy definitely has a strange. I could see him going Trey Lance here, in some weird way. Swift. All right, and then who on the back end? Quarterback or nah? All right, and it's funny in the auction draft. Of course, I have the first pick or the first nomination. So
set it so the numbers go crazy.
Yeah, right. And Javonte. Bleh! That's what the kind of sound I need there. Javonte Williams. No, with Melvin Gordon there, they just re-signed him. I mean, maybe the share goes down a little bit, 60-40, but still, he's going to have a huge role.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that plays out. But I don't think you're going to see that 50-50 split again. 2 autos.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. They were there for the first pick.
I like the Chubb pick too.
It's looking like a solid squad so far. And Barkley at 3-5. I really like that pick. I mean, I'm super high on Barkley this year. I think he's going to have a big bounce back year. So, I mean, do you think CeeDee Lamb is worth the hype?
I think he's becoming one of those players for fantasy players like us who he's just not a name we want to draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I use Frank Gore as my example every time that he may be the name to prove us wrong.
Yeah.
You know, is he worth the hype? I don't know. I mean, you just sniped me. That's what I wanted. I wanted Brady or Rodgers to complete my piece, but you guys just did it. I'm okay with that.
Man, that 30 seconds just flies by.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Carr it is, and on the turn, he's going left. He's taking another left.
That'll be my QB1. Let's see. Superflex. Keep that in mind. Let me see what that's looking like.
Trey Lance. Okay, well, talk to me about Trey Lance.
Trey Lance last year with Jimmy G didn't really get to showcase his ability, right? Him and Justin Fields were the two talked about QBs because of the mobility factor. I think this is the year that Trey will own that offense, and I think he's going to produce. Derek Carr, the reason why I picked Derek Carr in that piece is only because Derek Carr has weapons. Mm-hmm. I know if you talk to people like Joey Flo and others, they're not big on Derek Carr. I understand that. But being that super flex, I want to lock up the QB position because I'm looking at the players in front of me. Some only have one QB. So on the wraparound on the 5-12, I feel my pickings will be slim.
Yeah.
So Derek Carr's got the weapons, though. He's got Devontae, he's got Renfro, he's got Waller. I mean, he's got the weapons to make it happen.
And so in the third round, drafting Derek Carr, are you looking to, stack him with Renfro or Waller if Waller falls?
That's not something I'm willing to share on camera at the moment. But yeah. I mean, we got some rounds to go. But, keep in mind, too, Derek Carr and Trey Lance, if you're looking at the all tab, they're top in the ranks. And, we have two autos in that unfortunately may pick those players.
Yeah, that's true.
Last thing I want is my QB1 to be Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, I'm learning that if you do go super flex and you don't go QB early, you're going to be left with some slim pickings. Mm-hmm. See, I'm looking at Plug's team, and Plug took Burrow, and especially in the redraft status, taking Brady as a QB2. That's solid.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like it's different rounds for us, but definitely the same kind of approach we've got, back to back.
And I'll give you an example, just kind of looking at your picks. You have Hurts and Rodgers, and you picked a QB a round earlier than me, but yet your QB caliber is much superior to my QB caliber. See, and that's if you wait at QB and Superflex, you're going to stumble.
Yeah,
we're going to be forced to take some QBs you may not want. What's your thoughts on Trey Lance?
I think there's way too much hype around him.
Any specific reason, or you just?
I mean, he played what in how many games last year? 3. And just the fact that he's really coming into his first year in the NFL. And a lot of the times when people, it's just weird to see, but when people are hyped up this much and there's really nothing showing unless he was the only thing you saw was him in college, and him in college got him to where he is now. But we haven't seen anything for him to prove that. So being a top in the 4th round or whatever of Superflex, that's all right. But I'm seeing him go 3 and 2, and that's just way too high for me. With an unproven guy that's in an offense that's very run heavy.
Yep.
Oh, come on, dude.
And you know what's funny is looking at the roster on what's available still in that QB piece. I'm seeing names out there that really could be a solid QB too. So I'm looking at that Lance or the Derek Carr pick, really either or. It depends which one I like better. And I could have probably waited on one.
Yeah. Oh, do we have another auto here? And yes, we do.
Come on, dude.
And that's fine.
Gibson is always an auto for everybody.
Yeah, for real. I don't understand it. All right, the auction draft has begun. I just nominated Tyler Boyd. $1. Let's see. It's my turn to pick. Where am I going? Oh, of course, it's lagging. Let's see if I can get this in real quick. Oh, let's see. Oh, there we go. Oh, and I guess I won Tyler Boyd for $1. Great. That's not what I wanted, but that's all right.
You know, I'm gonna ride this train. I've been talking to Fantasy Flow Joe a lot about this one name. He's so big.
I know.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? And I'm gonna trust it because the offense is potent and they're gonna need to run.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my RB2. RB1. So my QBs are looking a little suspect, but I'm okay with that. And this is somebody I love.
All right, DK.
I love DK. I love DK because I just think that guy's just a freak of nature.
I mean, he really is, like, to be honest.
They talk about the QB situation in Seattle, but you know what? He's their biggest target. He's going to be fed often.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you can throw it. You can literally throw it in a 10-yard vicinity, and he'll catch it. Amber's saying, I feel at the 12 spot you have to make really educated picks, especially in Superflex. Yeah, for sure. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
No time to really waste. I mean, literally, you have 1 minute to make 2 picks. Like, you got to have it planned out, and if you're sniped, like, it's super tough.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So, kind of give you that idea. Going back to my Trey Lance pick, though, looking round 5, the QBs making their way back to me. Tua, Trevor, Tannehill. You know, I'd rather roll the dice with Trey Lance on that one.
Yeah.
But then you look at Trey Lance and you look at the value I might have passed up. Higgins, Montgomery, Tyreek, or Debo, actually. Zeke is one of those that I love Zeke for who he is and what he's capable of. I just don't believe Jerry Jones.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think he's bullshit. He's always bullshit. He's like Al Davis 2.0.
Yeah.
All right, so 3 quarterbacks: Mahomes, Lawrence, and Matt Ryan. Is that the first 3 quarterback team? I think so. So what do you think? Matt Ryan bouncing back this year?
Matty Ice has been that fantasy player throughout multiple seasons that has burned me. And it's so hard for me to love him and have faith in him. Mm-hmm. Him and Phillip Rivers are 2 quarterbacks that have burned me in years. Yeah. I mean, he's got Michael Pittman. Who's the other Colts receiver that's getting a lot of love right now, saying that he's going to win the number 2? Begins with a P.
Alec Pierce.
Is it Alec? Yeah, Parrish, I believe his name was. He's getting a lot of love, saying that he's gonna win the 2 spot. I was just seeing reports on it. There's a Deshaun Watson 9 a.m. tomorrow. We're gonna go him.
That'll be interesting to see what happens because that could change up a lot of drafts if he's not suspended.
What's your take on Josh Jacobs?
I don't have one because he's literally so far off my roster that he basically doesn't play football anymore. Oh man, Otto at 3 is just kind of messing everything up. Cortland Sutton. I know a lot of people like Cortland Sutton. What do you like Cortland Sutton this year with the?
I think I own 2 shares of Cortland Sutton. I like him a lot with Wilson over there. I think one of the biggest sleeper names over there is that they're talking about Tim Patrick is underneath the radar. But if I had to pick the number 1 Denver's receiver, I'm going to say Sutton over Judy.
Sutton over Judy? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Tim Patrick is an interesting, especially in like dynasty formats.
Late round pick.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens in that retrospect through, like in Denver's camp. I mean, I get a lot of I post stuff on TikTok about like not drafting CMC and not drafting Javonte Williams just because of opportunity and obviously injury, but like man, just people think that Denver's offense is already potent. They haven't done anything. There's a lot of teams out there that they look really good on paper, and then they have no chemistry, and so nothing works out.
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of the wait and see approach, and I really like to play with a bigger floor rather than booming. To be honest.
Looking at this board to see what's here.
All right, so I need some wide receiver help. I think I'm going to take a stab here.
I'm trying to let mine go down a little bit so I can see what I need.
Mm-hmm. Nice. It was between him and Darnell Mooney for me.
Yeah. And I'll say something after there's another name that gets picked in a minute. Looking at what I need right now. Actually, I'll just take.
What were you gonna say?
I fall in a dilemma a lot with people when I talk to people about depth charts and receiver rankings or running back rankings. Now, A-Rob is technically the number 2 over there, right? So the question becomes, well, would you take a Monsant Brown over Allen Robinson? For me, it's an easy answer because I'm going to say yes. I want the wide receiver 1 on any team over a wide receiver 2 on any other team.
Yeah.
But A-Rob is kind of an exception to that rule a little bit for me because A-Rob is a true wide receiver 1. He's only becoming a 2 because Cooper Kupp is.
Oh, that's rough. I'm sure he just ran it because he's still
Yeah, I'll tell you right
seconds, now. No joke.
If Watson does not get suspended, Cooper's stock goes way up.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Way up.
It's not even it's unheard of.
You know what's funny is before Robinson, I was going to go Renfro, but I just like Robinson better. I'm not one of those people that needs to have that stack. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, and I guess that's what I was asking. Amber saying A-Rob finally getting a chance to ball out. I mean, he's balled out before. Matt Stafford isn't crazy on his wide receiver 2s. That's I like him. He's in a better situation in the Sean McVay offense, and especially if Matt Stafford can become more utilize his weapons more, because as we saw before Robert Woods went down, he only had 1 or 2 games that were really good because Cooper Kupp was just
But you know what? In talking about A-Rob and Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, A-Rob is that go up and get it receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's why Stafford may utilize A-Rob more. If Kupp comes across the middle, finds the little pockets in the zone, and A-Rob is just going to be utilized more, I feel like. But like I said, that's just speculation, and I'm trying to see how this mock turns out.
Yeah.
But right now I got 4 wide receivers. I'm liking the team so far. It's just I see my QB weakness.
Yeah, my weakness is a little in my wide receivers. I don't know. It's funny. I was just talking about floor, but my team doesn't have much floor except for Aaron Rodgers and Najee Harris. Treylon Burks. All right. So, what rookie wide receiver are you most excited about? Just like in general.
I mean, that Drake London highlight was nice. Treylon Burks. I gotta be honest. I like Garrett Wilson. I'm curious to see what he does in New York.
Yeah, me too. And as long as Zach Wilson can, not throw it to the other team,
yeah,
that would be great.
But I'm curious to see. I'm curious to see. Speaking of Zach Wilson, there you go.
Well, he's a Jets fan, obviously, by his emblem.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, year 2, I mean, it does a lot. Elijah Moore. I really like Elijah Moore this year. I think I'm on the clock again to nominate. So. It's a doozy.
I love D-Hop, and I think everybody's sleeping on D-Hop because of suspension, and he's dropping, and I understand it. But if you draft D-Hop, do yourself a favor and go grab Rondale Moore just to fill in the meantime, because D-Hop will pay dividends when he's back.
So I just nominated Chuba Hubbard in this auction draft, and no one's bid on him yet. I think I may have messed up again. All right.
But you're really auctioning bidding names out there that you don't want at all.
No. And I just got him. Oh well.
What's your take on the Rashad Penny and Ken Walker deal?
I really like Rashad Penny. It's all depending on his health, because if he's healthy, Kenneth Walker will not see the light of day in Seattle. What about you?
I think you're going to see a running back by committee over there.
Really?
I really do. I think if Rashad Penny stays healthy, it's a running back by committee. Obviously, if he doesn't stay healthy, then obviously we know Walker takes it. But that's going to be. I think if you take Walker, you're betting on Penny to get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a fact.
I don't know if we're going to consider this one a reach, but I really do like this guy this year. And you're going to call me crazy, but
no, I like it. I mean, he has the weapons there, and he's had good years in the past. I mean, so there's nothing like as your third quarterback. I think that's solid.
I'm going to lock him up to be my insurance policy in case Lance or Carr doesn't work that way.
It's the only gripe against it is that Derek Carr and Jared Goff have the same bye week.
Derek Carr and Jared Goff have the same bye week, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we're what, 14 rounds? Oh, did I just I got caught up in conversation and forgot it was me back to back. Oh, that sucks.
Who were you going to go with?
Let me not say until he's picked.
Okay. Oh, I'm freaking out.
Yeah, you took Garrett Wilson. Gordon.
We're going with a very young team. If this was Dynasty, I'd be super happy.
Hey, listen, I'll take Knox as my starting tight end, but I feel like the tight end volume is loaded, so the tight end spot can actually wait numerous rounds before we need to go tight end, unless you're grabbing one of them top tier guys. But the name I'm going to mention might surprise you. I like him this year, and I think he's going to be the number one over there. Come on! I'll wait till he drops. There he goes, Chase Edmonds.
Okay. You like him?
I like Chase. I think Chase is going to be the back to own in Miami. I really do. No, it's
I mean, I hope so. I've always liked Chase Edmonds. I've always been a huge Chase Edmonds fan, but
and I think that's what it is. I think it's just my personal bias with him. That I like him as a player,
Mhm.
and I feel like if he gets the volume, he produces.
Yeah.
What's your take in Tampa Bay with Russell Gage, Julio?
I think it's an AARP group of misfits now.
Number 2 Dynasty fan, that Jameis Winston pick is actually a QB that will be value later on, grabbing him as late as he did.
Yeah, I agree.
What am I looking at right now? Let's see. Yeah, see, I'm seeing tight ends that makes my auto pick frustrating. That would have been available later.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because I mean, it's going to be tough with him and OJ Howard there. It's going to be a timeshare. Like, it's not going to be the same. Uh, it's not going to be the same as last year.
Yep.
It's not.
But man, I mean, JA definitely has rapport with Knox, so that's where that's where that first look is going to be at. Obviously, from a tight end perspective.
All right, so welcome Carbon Copy. He has a question, Dynasty related. Made a trade for a 23 first, but my league is getting stingy, so I had to overpay. Hunt, Kittle, and 23 seconds for Carter Knox and a 23 first. Let's see, Hunt, Kittle, Carter Knox. I mean, you got Youth and Carter, but he's the RB2. He's basically Kareem Hunt 2.0 in New York. And 2 seconds. I mean, if it's early, that's good, but you never know. I mean, I think you may have spent a tiny too much, but I think you may be overthinking it a little bit. What do you think?
I'm sorry, I was looking at the roster. Can you say it again?
Yeah, I'll put the comment up. Made a trade for 2023 first round pick, but my league is being stingy, so I had to overpay.
I mean, you're rebuilding an orphan team. I took over a team like that for the Fantasy Football Network with Kyle and Corey, and the team I took over, same thing, was an orphan team. It depends. I mean, you have to determine what you're overpaying for if you want to try to compete this year a little bit, or if you're in full rebuild mode. For me, I try to get into every league and compete that same year. So I'm okay with some. Yeah, okay. I now have 23 first. I mean, you got picks.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little while. So I hope you paid up your dues because you're gonna need a couple years to get that chip. And there he goes. Speak of the devil.
I was pressured into that one, but I wanted him, so. Looking at my team. 2 more rounds. Ah. It's a little bit of
Myers, Mr. No TD.
Mr. You know what though? Listen, there's gonna be a positive movement there in New England with him.
I can see it, but I'm gonna go with the youngest guy ever to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, Rashad White.
I was looking at Rashad. What's your take on that whole Fournette issue with the weight gain?
Man, he already supposedly lost those 15 pounds, and like it was all media hype. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But all the media BS kind of like you can only take it as far as you can throw it, and you can't throw it that far. So. Ronald Jones, the future of the Kansas City Chiefs running back room.
I tell you, man, that's one backfield I don't care to own any piece of him.
Not since Kareem Hunt.
Hmm. What's your take on taking people's handcuffs if it's not your handcuff? What's your thought on that?
It could be good just for trade value.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, basically, you're sitting on injury there. So like,
Yeah.
you either keep him on your bench and you're wasting a roster spot, or you try to trade him to the guy for some like
Come
wide
on.
receiver 3 capital. Is Jarvis Landry ever going to be anything ever again?
I think so.
Yeah.
I really do. I think so. Listen, it's Jarvis Landry. He has Winston, who's not afraid to throw interceptions, so he's just going to be airing it out. You have Landry, you have Olave. Who else you have over there in New Orleans? Mike Thomas. Who I saw a highlight of Mike Thomas, and I wasn't. He just looked sluggish in the release.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's tough because he's going to gain a lot of attention from the opposing defenses, and he's going to have to step it up. Like they're going to treat him like he's still the wide receiver 1 next to Cooper Kupp.
And you know what though? I mean, I guess I'd have to recall a player who missed a season or two. I feel like they never come back to game form.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I tend to agree, and that's kind of like I'm not fading him, but like I think his ADP is solid in the 7th round. If he can win you a couple weeks, that's as a wide receiver 2. I think that's all I can really hope for. As a wide receiver 1, though, I wouldn't bank too much on that. What do you think about the Cordell Patterson, Tyler Algier hype?
You know what's funny is I had him queued up for me as well. I can't see Cordell Patterson being a workload running back over there, workhorse style running back over there. So, Tyler A will be your short yardage back. He'll take all the touchdowns away.
Yeah.
And Cordell Patterson's he's gonna go back to that Percy Harvin role, that utility role.
You think? Okay.
That's just the thought process of mine. But don't forget Patterson is speed. Patterson is he's that utility knife.
Yeah.
I like that Gainwell pick with Sniper, just because Gainwell is getting a lot of recognition right now in camp.
Yeah, I don't know. There has to be one like Jamar Chase of this year. Not saying that they'll put up the numbers that he did last year, but like how the media was just like, he can't catch the ball, he can't do this, like da 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 da. And they are throwing like names around like of people that can't do that. And I don't know, man. I have this weird feeling about Miles Sanders this year. I don't know what it is, but I think he's going to do a lot better than a lot of people think. Carbon copy is my team is a rebuild with an eye on 2023 complete. Spent the offseason rebuilding my wide receiver core into CD, Waddle, London, Bateman. Wow, that's good.
Yeah, it's solid.
Future. That's great.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Come on.
Mr. Rondale Moore is off the board.
Solid pick with plug right there with Ingram.
Yeah.
I read a crazy report, and I really don't know how accurate it is, but they're saying that Kamara might not get suspended until next year.
Yeah,
which I find that odd, though. Like, next year, I don't know. But I think that came from Adam Schefter.
Oh, really?
My last pick is going to be I want to draft him. Take him.
Julio Jones, the topic of discussion. The newest chairman of the union of AARP through Tom Brady.
Here's why I like Julio. Do I think Gronk is coming back? No. I think Gronk is done.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of reports coming out that Julio takes over that Gronk role. If Julio takes over that Gronk role, you have Gage, Evans, Godwin. I mean, those names produced even with Antonio Brown there, right? No, so you got Gage. Gage is a new name over there. I like Julio. I think Julio produces. I think Julio will be a good flex play for people to have. I'm not gonna say he's a starting wide receiver. But listen, I mean, it's Tom Brady throwing the ball, so you can't discredit that.
Yeah. I mean, it's all based on. I mean, I think he still has moves. It's just if his hammy can hold up those moves. So I mean,
didn't he have the Jones fracture, did he have the Jones fracture, which kind of really and it back in Atlanta, and once he had that injury, he was never the same.
Yeah, and it's just been a nagging hamstring injury for like 3 years now.
But you know what, too? I mean, listen, Matty Ice was on the decline, so that's going to impact Julio, too.
Yeah. But, I mean, or Matty Ice wasn't, and the team just sucked, and the play calling just sucked, and then he goes off this year. So, really, anything could happen.
It's fantasy.
So let's take a look. Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at these teams. Team 1, Josh Allen in the first. Pretty standard. Swift, Williams, Etienne, A.J. Brown, Deshaun, Mitchell, Burks, Wilson, Lazard, Kirk, Njoku, and Mayfield. I mean, I think this is a pretty solid squad. Definitely a lot of potential with everyone that's coming too. We got a few rookies. We got someone signing a new contract. We got someone, trying to sign a new contract with a massage therapist label. And so, there's a lot of things going on here, but I think it's definitely a playoff team. What do you think?
Yep, I agree with that one.
Going over to number 2, we had a couple autos here, but that's all right. Jonathan Taylor, Devontae Adams, Mark Andrews. The 2 quarterbacks are Justin Fields and Jameis Winston. So I don't like that too much. Justin Fields in the 4th round of Superflex, I think, is a little high unless it's for Dynasty. Devontae, Keenan Allen, Godwin, Gabriel Davis, Sky Moore. I think that's a great 4 wide receiver lineup.
Yeah, now I understand with the Andrews being picked in the 3rd round, and I know Kelsey, Andrews, Pitts, these guys are on their own tear and stuff. I just struggle, many struggle with taking a QB early in early rounds if it's redraft and say it's not super flex. Yeah. I struggle with the same value in tight end. I just feel like you're leaving. I give an example. You're leaving Chubb, Barkley, Aaron Jones on the board and taking Andrews over that. But I mean, I guess it can really go either way. But for me, I just tight ends are just there's a lot of depth at that position for me.
All right, going to the auto pretty much the whole time except for the last 4 rounds. We got Herbert and Wilson, 2 AFC West quarterbacks going at it. Probably some high-scoring games between the 2. Kyle Pitts, James Conner, Fournette, Harris, Pierce, and Gainwell in the running back room, and then Marquise Brown, Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Hopkins, Brandon Ayuk, and Dotson season, baby. It was autoed, so can't really talk about it too much. I like the quarterbacks, the wide receivers. They definitely sniped Cortland Sutton from a lot of people. Hopkins, who knows? Ayuk, I don't like.
Yeah, you've definitely mentioned you're not big on Ayuk like that, especially after that highlight catch he just put up the other day. But no, this is like I said, it's auto because you got Hopkins and Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, you took Connor. So if the Arizona offense doesn't perform, this team doesn't perform. It's 3 positions right there. So, but I love the Herbert and Wilson, absolutely. And I do like Connor and Fournette, but once you're taking Connor, then like I said, it's auto, so we understand. But once you're taking Connor, you want to stay away from Brown and Hopkins, maybe one or the other. But yeah.
All right, next we got the lady shot caller herself, Cooper Kupp at the 1-4. Bold strategy, Cotton, but I respect it. Matt Stafford, I love that stack. Then Nick Chubb and David Montgomery. Tua as quarterback 2, Dalton Schultz, Michael Thomas, Tony Pollard, Moore, Gage, Spiller, Fant, and then Herbert as the handcuff. I think this is a top 5 team.
That's a solid team. And you talked earlier about CD Lamb and the hype. And I think the reason why I just can't draft CD Lamb is because I target Schultz in every draft I'm in. And you can see that he's fallen in that 6th round. So 3-4 rounds later, you can grab him over Andrews, Pitts, and Kelsey.
Yeah.
So, definitely a solid team. And I like Montgomery. I don't think Montgomery's getting enough love, but I like Montgomery.
I do too. I'm really high on Montgomery this year. Let's see. Well, I'm nominating someone I actually want now in the auction draft, so we'll see if I get him or not. Probably not. And there he goes. Craze is just trolling me right now because every time I put someone up that I actually want, he just bids another dollar on me. But that's okay. So we got Jared Big Ocean with Patty Mahomes at the 1-5. Diggs, Barkley. I love Barkley this year. I think it's going to be a bounce back year for him.
Agreed.
T. Higgins at the 4-8. Trevor Lawrence, Matt Ryan, and then Williams, Hunt, Penny, Stevenson. I think this is a really solid team as well. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree with Barkley. I think Barkley, I saw a post earlier about who do you trust more, Barkley or CMC, and I chose Barkley. I just trust Barkley this year. I think he's going to bounce back. And also, don't forget, when we talk about his injuries, he stepped on an offensive lineman. I forgot how he injured his ankle. I think the offense, the old Bills coordinator, DeBold, is going to work around Barkley with that. But just real quick on this roster for a second, though, look at Lawrence and Ryan. You see how they go back to back?
Mm-hmm.
This person obviously fell in the same position I fell in, where because it's Superflex, you almost feel obligated to try to take the best quarterbacks available. But then again, you just leave good depth on the board. And that's why in Superflex it gets tricky, where if you don't lock up your quarterbacks early, you're going to lock them up later, and it's going to cost you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. But I mean, honestly, Matt Ryan and Trevor Lawrence, they're pairing with Mahomes. I like that. I mean, I think that. I mean, I'm not really big on Mahomes' fantasy value, just because I think that Kansas City is really boom, and then like they'll have critical weeks where they just rely on their defense. They'll still win the games, but for fantasy purposes, I don't need Patrick Mahomes to score me 45 points one week and then 14 the next.
I think right now, going through these rosters, I'm going to give it to Lady Shot Caller right now so far as my favorite one so far.
Oh yeah. So next we're going to Ryan of the Dynasty Fan Podcast, Lamar Jackson at the 1-6, Chase, Jones, Hill, Waller, Mac Jones, Brandon Cooks, Drake London, Singletary, Edmonds, Robert Woods, Alexander Madison, and Chase Claypool. I want to hear what you got on this one first before I go through it.
So I like the team. I like Jackson and Chase. I like Aaron Jones. I'm curious to see what Tyreek can do with Tua. I know there's a lot of he's not going to perform. He's not Pat. So I mean that's a question mark. But I mean it's Tyreek Hill. You can't discredit who he is. Love Waller. I think Waller's an animal. Mac Jones. I think we're going to see Bill forced to let Matt throw the ball more. So I mean it's an interesting team. It's one of those teams that probably will definitely be competitive and just probably not get enough respect throughout the season.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I mean, quick, that Chase Edmonds, I know you drafted Singletary as the RB2, but I would actually take Edmonds as my RB2 over Singletary.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah, that's the only gripe against this team is that Singletary is the RB2. Just for the fact that it's a carousel there in Buffalo.
Yep.
I'm sure you know.
Yep.
So I mean, I think it's a solid team as well. We got Maiden Man 107, CMC. He's probably going to usually, like, around the week 6, they're going to take the last C off that, and it's just going to be CM because he's not going to have a hamstring anymore. Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Kirk Cousins, Pittman, Hawkinson, Sanders, CEH, Adam Thielen, Pat Fryermuth, Daniel Jones, Ronald Jones, and Jameson Williams. Yeah, I don't think, I mean, I like the Pittman pick. I like the 2 quarterbacks, and half of Miles Sanders. But
No, I struggle. I mean, I do like CMC. I understand the concern with CMC, but I'm with you. I like Pittman. I like Prescott. But the running back scenarios here. If McCaffrey goes down, I mean, his running backs are weak at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not running backs that you could start with confidence and really have your faith in.
I mean, and 2 of them are on the same team, so I mean,
I don't like the KC backfield. It's a backfield I'm really not looking at drafting. The Philly backfield is another backfield I'm really not quite sure on, and I feel like you said, you're going to see your boy Jalen Hurts really kind of get mobile over there.
Yeah. All right, Trunks Fantasy Football: Kyler Murray, Dalvin Cook, Mike Evans, Deebo Samuel, Antonio Gibson, DJ Moore, J.K. Dobbins, got the fancy French tees and Dallas Goedert, Devonta Smith, Carson Wentz, Mike Gesicki, Lockett, and Boyd. I mean, this may, let's see, who was the other one? Dynasty Fam Pot. This may counter Dynasty Fam in receiving core. I really like this team except for J.K. Dobbins. But I think, let's see, I think you got to go Madison there instead of Tyler Lockett.
I've heard you. Yeah, I agree with that. And I've heard you talk about Dobbins and definitely not liking Dobbins that much. Is it because he hasn't touched the field yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I find this team to be balanced. I'm not crazy about Carson Wentz, but I find this team to definitely be balanced.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Carson Wentz as your second quarterback, that's a little tough. I guess that's kind of where my dislike comes from a little more. I mean, he has the running back and the quarterback stack, which I know Flojo likes to do. But yeah, I mean, just there's a lot of depth at wide receiver, but I wish there was just a tiny bit more depth at running back.
How do you feel about Antonio Gibson? I know a lot of people that don't give Antonio Gibson.
I think he's going to be a little more touchdown dependent this year. I still like him personally. He helped me win a dynasty league last year. Granted, I did have not Debo. I did have Jonathan Taylor on that team.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Antonio Gibson is getting a lot of hate for really not a lot of reason, just because people are writing up about how they drafted another running back.
Yeah, Brian Robinson, right?
Yeah. What about you?
I think Gibson is going to be like CeeDee Lamb. He's going to be one of those names that people just don't like drafting. And Brian Robinson, I get it. The re-sign of McKissick, especially how they chased McKissick down after the Buffalo thing, drafting Brian Robinson, it leaves you to wonder what that backfield is going to play out as. I mean, but Gibson was their investment, so I'm curious to see how Gibson plays for them.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's Washington. It's hard for me to like Washington in general, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. All right, going to the one, the only, the sandwich god. We got Derrick Henry at the 1-9, Travis Kelce, Kamara, Kittle, Ryan Tannehill, Waddle, Juju, Hunter Renfrow, Mariota, Olave, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Hines, and Rondale Moore. What you got for me, Swami?
I don't like the QBs on his team, and I think that running that double tight end in the first 4 rounds might have cost him a good QB spot. At least maybe Kirk Cousins or Tom Brady. Well, not Tom Brady. Let me see.
I mean, Tua, Kurt, or Matt Ryan.
Yeah. So I was trying to see the wraparound. I don't know. I like I like Waddle. I like Juju, and I like Renfro on this team. To be honest with you, Kamara. I love Kamara. I've always been a Kamara fan.
Yeah, me too.
Derrick Henry. I mean, he's Derrick Henry. I mean, the guy's an animal, but the question is, does he have too many miles on him?
Yeah.
So
that's the question every year. But every year he ceases. He proves to still be amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that, and and I think those Superflex. I think when it comes to Superflex and you draft Superflex, really the QB becomes a big priority because that's the leverage. So seeing Tannehill, Mariota as the QBs, I would question this roster for me.
Yeah, so definitely okay. Craze just did it again. He's literally just trolling me in this auction league. All right, back to this league. Joe Burrow and Tom Brady are plug is. I mean, this team is solid. You got Joe Mixon with that running back stack, or not the running back, QB running back stack. Tom Brady, Zeke, and then Terry McLaurin, Judy, Kenneth Walker, Cooper, Ertz, Gordon, Tony, Christian Watson, and Melvin Ingram. I mean, this is definitely a team that could go places. I'm iffy about the Judy pick, but that's really, and Zeke is a little not. I would have probably went Monty there instead of Zeke.
You would have went where?
Montgomery instead of Zeke.
Instead of Zeke. You know what's funny, and it's more toward the end of Plug's draft, is Tony and Watson. I know the Giants don't get enough respect out that way, but somebody's got to catch the ball out that way.
Yeah.
And you figure the G-Men are going to be airing it out. So, Plug got Burrow and Brady. I mean, this is a solid team. Scary Terry. It's definitely a solid team.
All right. Moment of truth. What do you think of my team?
I'm going to be honest. I love Hurts and Rodgers. I'm curious to know how the Jets' backfield is going to play out. I know everybody thinks Hall is going to be the number one because of the draft capital and whatnot. Deontay Johnson, I like. I mean, A.J. Dillon is your RB3. That's not bad at all. And then you got Patterson as well. It's a solid team. I mean, to me, honestly, it's balanced. It's very balanced. Johnson, Mooney, and Bateman. Garrett Wilson, you heard me say I love. If Hall is the player that everybody thinks he's going to be, then this team is more than balanced. If Hall is your typical Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt scenario, that's a balanced setup.
Yeah, I think so too, and I agree with that assessment. And then let's see. So first two rounds, Jefferson, Eckler. I love those first two picks. Derek Carr, Trey Lance. I'm not huge on Trey Lance because we kind of already talked about. Akers, it's kind of the wait and see approach for me. DK, St. Brown, Allen Robinson, and then Jared Goff. I think he will be your QB2 rather than Trey Lance. Bold prediction.
Yeah.
Dawson Knox as Otto the Thotto would recommend to grab there. And then Michael Carter, Jacoby Myers, and Julio Jones purely for upside. I think that if Derek Carr and Trey Lance and Jared Goff are like live up to the hype that's around them, this is going to be a scary team.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm very curious. Like I said, as we get closer and closer to draft day and the training camp reports come out and who's taking the QB1 spot and who's going to be taking who's running the first team reps, whether it's QB, running back position. I'm very curious how it plays out. I got to be honest, I love DK and I love Monsant Brown. And, we talked about stacks and, stacking golf with Monsant Brown is going to be interesting to me because I think that the Lions offense will be clicking.
Yeah, I think the Lions are going to be a lot better than what people think.
I told you they're the division winners over here. I called it on the last one we said.
Yeah, for sure. You did. You definitely did.
Bold prediction, very bold, but I think
the boldest from the best, Ben, the official Swami. He's in the house, but we're about to be out of the house. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Another episode of Superflex Sunday in the books. I promise I'll be a little more attentive next week. You know what it is. Fantasy is life. You know it's a vibe. Thank you to the Fantasy Football Network for having us. And thank you to Melon App for supplying this platform. And if you haven't already, hit that like. It goes a long way. And you got to follow the official Swami. His name is Ben. My name is Ben. Fantasy is life. You know it's a vibe. And TikTok. If you're there, hit that plus. If you don't mind.
Appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Peace and love, y'all. Until next week.